From the beautiful campus of Casper College, it's time to dive into the world of Casper College athletics with another episode of the Casper College Coaches Show. Now here's your host, Phil Kohler.
Welcome fans to the Casper College Coaches Show. I'm your host, Phil Kohler. Today I'm joined by the women's coach here at Casper College, Dwight Gennari. Coach, welcome aboard.
Well, thank you, and again, thank you for having the Coaches Show. It's tremendous. The feedback we got last year from our fans was outstanding, and I know this is on your own time and things, so much appreciated.
Absolutely. Appreciate you having us, and always getting a chance to sit down and talk to you is a blessing for me. You guys opened the season ranked 14th in the preseason poll. Obviously, the preseason poll doesn't matter nearly as much as the postseason poll. But talk about what that means for you guys as far as expectations and also what people think about your program nationally.
Well, and that's the main thing. I think it's more of a respect thing or a consistency thing. We've been to the national tournament 5 out of the last 6 years or somewhere in there. It's very difficult to actually put out a projection on who's the strongest teams in the country right now. Junior college has such a big turnover, so it's kind of more of a speculation on how the programs have done in the past. So to be in that top 20 again in the preseason, to me, seems like it's a respect thing for our program, and our kids deserve that.
Absolutely, very much deserved, and you as well. But you guys talk about, you guys are Region 9 champions last year, but you lose 3 big pieces that all go on to play Division I. You get Sandra Frau-Garcia heading to the University of Illinois, Chicago, Jocelyn Igo heading down to the University of Wyoming, and then Julia Palomo heading to Evansville. Really impressive to have that, but also you're losing 3 really, really good basketball players, Coach. So how do you replace something like that?
You can't replace person for person. It just is impossible. And shout out to all of our sophomores from last year, and congratulations. They have all moved on, the ones that wanted to move on and stuff. And so, no, we won't replace them. Our team will be different. It'll be very similar, but it'll be different. And, you know, it may take 3, 4, 5 players to make up those statistical numbers and stuff. But we've got some depth, and we're going to play. But we will miss those 3 and all of those sophomores. Great 2 years with them.
Sure, absolutely. So you guys, so far this year, you've had an opportunity to play in a couple of jamborees. You guys have played a handful of scrimmages. Talk a little bit about what you've seen from this group. You know, obviously you say that they're going to be a little similar, but obviously different from last year's group. What are some things that you've seen so far from your group?
Yeah, first of all, and most important in any group, great attitude, great work ethic. Number one, and you know, we have 12 newcomers. One, Brooke Wright from Douglas, is a medical redshirt. She has surgery, so she'll be out. But you know, we have 11 actual newcomers on the court, and you know, for them, the first thing, our growth is going to be a little bit slower with those. But if we have good attitudes and we have good work ethic, I think the end product is still going to be there. So I've noticed great effort. I do think we're going to be fairly balanced offensively. We've got some good interior presence. We have some good perimeter players, some shooters, some drivers. Again, I think, you know, our strength is going to have to be our defense, and we're going to have to rebound really well. But early on, I'm very pleased with what I'm seeing.
Sure. And you say you're going to have to rely on that defense. Coach, your teams every year seem to play really, really hard on the defensive end of the floor. They play so much harder than any high school team that I've ever watched. What is that transition like for kids when they come from high school and then they get into college and they're not used to playing this hard defensively? It
is a little bit of a change, but you know what helps us is our culture, our returning players. You know, when we step foot on the court late in August and they see the defensive effort that comes from our returners, they know they have to match that. So I give a lot of credit over anything that carries over within our program. It's hard in a 2-year because there's such transition and stuff, but I give a lot of credit to our returners. And I think the expectations, they really translate that to our newcomers.
Yeah. So, Coach, you talk about the newcomers coming in. You've got 11 of them. Coaching at the JUCO level, you just never know. It could be you need 3 players. It could be you need 11 players. What's that recruiting process like for you?
It's a challenge. You know, you really have to balance position need and athleticism and all those in there. But, you know, again, our program has a little bit of a tradition. So we have people that are looking to, like our internationals, we have We have agents that are looking to place their kids in our program, so that helps. It's not where we have to turn every rock over and those kind of things. So we have a lot of things that come to us, and then we have to make some decisions. But it's always a challenge, and when you're doing long distance recruiting and relying on video and testimony, there's always a mystery when we take the floor in August. Is this player really what we think? And we haven't been disappointed very often.
Sure. Well, and I'm sure these international agencies have an idea of what they're expecting from Casper College, and they're probably giving these girls an idea of what to expect when they get to Casper College.
They are, and our biggest, as you'll notice when you look at our roster, our biggest representation is from Spain, and we've had the same individual that's worked with us for 5 or 6 years, and just about, I'm just throwing a percentage out, but I bet 80% of the kids that he sent us has gone to Division I. So excellent. Quality kids, great students.
Sure.
So we've been very fortunate to work with him.
Yeah. So speaking of this internationals, you got 6 girls from Spain this year. You have 2 girls from Hungary. You have 1 from Australia. Talk a little bit more about what it's like and kind of the conversations that you're having in some of these agencies and how you're getting some of these players.
Well, personally, it's just a rush for me to coach this, the diversity and just behind the scenes watching how they interact with each other. Our U.S. kids are, everybody, were miles and miles apart a year ago, and they become best friends when they leave there. So I enjoy that. The challenge, again, there's such diversity as far as style of play, and so that's a fun challenge, and we enjoy that. But overall, I've always had good kids, whether they're from Wyoming or Colorado or a foreign country. It just makes my job enjoyable.
Sure. What a great opportunity for some of these kids to be able to make these friendships. I mean, I heard a lot about Logan Albar, who's a returner for you, getting a chance to go overseas and visit with a former teammate of hers all summer. Like, what a great opportunity for them.
People don't realize it's not just putting the ball in the hoop. There are so many things that happen because of athletics in general, and it's relationships, work ethics, accountability, all those kind of things. But what an experience. I think she spent 3 weeks in Europe and got to visit all of her teammates, or a lot of her teammates' homes, and just got a tremendous cultural experience. So very happy for her. It's pretty nice byproduct.
Sure. And a lot of that has to do with the coaching and the program as well, and building that connectedness with those teams that you see every year from your teams.
Well, I think we have program expectations, and I think we're fairly clear with those. But again, I give it back to our returners. They, it's one thing coming from myself or Coach Macy, but when the returners live it and they carry it out and they have their expectations, it just makes it so much easier. So culture is Coach Macy and myself maybe, and Casper College in general, but a lot of it is our returners.
Sure. So let's talk about those returners from last year. You have 3 of them coming back. Irie Fernandez DeCayla, Logan Albar, Anna Cheney. Talk about what their summer has been like and what even their fall has been like with bringing in these 11 new players.
We talked to them last spring about it. There's only 3 of you returning, and we, just like what I was talking, we have to show expectations. And one of the biggest challenges with 12 newcomers was we had to learn how to practice. Only 3 knew what we had to do, and those 3, their leadership, their encouragement, their communication, they did the workload of 6 or 7 returners. So very proud of how they've started their fall. From a basketball standpoint, Logan is just, she's just a tough matchup because she can score inside and she can score outside. Probably has some of the best hands I've seen in a college basketball player. She makes some catches that, Justin Jefferson would be a little bit jealous. But, and then Anna Cheney, she's had a tremendous fall. She's been shooting it well, scoring it well. Her basketball IQ is off the charts. And then Irene, she's probably, I don't want to say a surprise because I saw a lot of things last year, but she has played really well this fall. So I couldn't be happier with our sophomores.
Sure. And even watching the scrimmage last weekend, you could tell the growth from those 3 specifically, and the improvement that they've made. Logan knocking down a couple of jump shots. I tell you what, if she's making jump shots, she can be really tough to guard, like you said. Then you guys get a transfer, which is a little bit unusual for you. Angela Astorga, who's a gal from Wyoming. Talk a little bit about her and what she's going to bring to the table.
What a fortunate happenstance for Casper College women's basketball. Angela reached out last year and said that she had played a year at Haskell, and then she returned back to ETH because of family circumstances and just inquired about our program, and we moved forward. I got to meet her and talk to her and in the spring and brought her up, and long story short, she signed with us, and what an addition.
Sure.
Oh my gosh. From an energy standpoint, from an offensive standpoint, defensive standpoint, personality, I'm just so thankful that girl reached out to our program because we weren't aware anymore, and she's been a tremendous addition.
Yeah. Well, and I think, again, it speaks to your program and these kids actually wanting to come and be a part of what you're building at Casper College, and again, speaks volumes to where you guys are at as a program.
That.
So,
thank you.
So, Coach, hey, it's finally game week.
Yes.
You guys get an opportunity to finally go out and play an actual basketball game, not a scrimmage or a practice game. So Friday, you guys go down to Utah. You guys will play Snow College on Friday. Snow, a perennial power, a team that has been really good the last couple of years. What can you expect from Snow, with not having any game film and a first time out for your gals?
We have a little bit of information just from playing them previously, and Zeus still is the returning coach there, and she was the assistant coach when Coach Russell was there for quite a few years. So, just like them with us, there's familiarity, and a lot of the system and some of the go-to sets can be the same from year to year.
Sure.
Good size, good interior play, have a couple very good scoring guards and three-point shooters. So it'll be on their home court. We always have great battles with Snow College. Sure. It's just a great opponent for us, whether it's in our Thanksgiving Classic or whether it's opening weekend, because well-run program, good players. We're going to have to play a game to win that one on the road.
Sure. And you talk about great programs, then Saturday you guys travel to University of Utah State Eastern.
Yes.
Another program that, year in and year out is tough. This year they come in preseason ranked 22nd. And again, we talk about how preseason rankings don't matter much, except for nationally. Obviously, teams are recognizing that they're going to be tough this year. You guys are going to have another battle on Saturday.
They are good. And that ranking is, if that ranking's off, it's probably lower than it should be. They should be climbing that ladder. They have like 5 or 6 returners. They have an excellent shooting guard. She committed it to University of Wyoming last year, and then after the summer program transferred to Utah State Eastern, and that girl can shoot it. She's an excellent player, and they have 6 returners, good size in there. Talked to a lot of the coaches out of Region 18, and traditionally it's CSI and Salt Lake that are mentioned towards the top. Every coach I talk to there says USU Eastern is going to be the team to beat this year. So hands full with them. Chelsea does a great job. Their coach, this is probably her 5th or 6th year there. So again, we are opening the weekend with 2 legit, very good programs, and I couldn't be happier.
Sure. And with those 2 really litmus tests for you, what are some things that you're hoping to find out about your program in the process?
Competitiveness, consistency.
Sure.
We need to we call it our core, but the fundamentals well. We need to take care of the basketball. We need to block out. We need to rebound. We need to take good shots. And, with so many newcomers, I have an idea and I have a good expectation, and I'm expecting to go there and compete. And our goal is to win both of those games, but you just don't know when the lights really come on.
Absolutely.
How that's going to happen. And we're going to have a lot of newcomers that are going to have to, that are going to play a lot of minutes. So, I, more than anything is I just want to see them do our core things well. I know as the season goes on, if we're not hitting it on all cylinders right now, their work ethic and their attitude, as long as we can keep our confidence, we're going to keep growing as a team. So our plan is to go 2-0.
Absolutely.
But overall, the most important thing is that there's carryover from what we worked on this fall.
Sure, and we talk about that big difference between the start of the season and the end of the season, right?
Absolutely.
That's when you want to be playing your best basketball.
Absolutely.
So, Coach, thanks so much for joining us. Let's do this again next week. We'll recap the Snow and the USU Eastern game and talk a little bit about the upcoming matchups.
Okay, and if you don't mind, a shout out to the Natrona County girls golf team and the coaching staff. We had a conversation off camera, and congrats to your team and congrats to you. That is such a great accomplishment.
Really appreciate that, Coach.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Fans, remember, always shoot for the stars, because even if you miss, there's always a chance for an offensive rebound. Thanks for joining us.